What's up guys, James here, and in today's video I want to talk to you about what's the best substrate for a planted aquarium. So what I mean by a planted aquarium is an aquarium that has live plants in it, so you can grow plants either from the substrate or through the water column, which means the plants are just sort of floating around in the tank. So in terms of the sort of substrates that you can get for aquariums, you can get anything from gravel to sand, stones, leaf litter and soil, and there is a few other different ones, but they're sort of the main sort of ones that you would get. In terms of the best substrate for planted aquariums, it would be probably soil. A lot of people would probably recommend that to you. This is because like planting anything outside of an aquarium, soil is obviously full of nutrients, and aquarium plants, just like normal terrestrial plants, use that to suck up any of those good nutrients to help them grow. However, it's not always viable or necessary to have soil as your substrate. You can actually use other types of substrates. So if you have a gravel in your aquarium or even sand, you can still grow plants. So it's a bit of a misconception online when people say that you need soil to solely grow plants. The reason I say that is that what happens if you've been out and you just spent loads of money on your brand new aquarium and you went and bought some gravel, laid it all up, got some fake plants, plopped them in the tank, and then you went online, did a bit of research, and then suddenly discovered that you can actually put plants in your aquarium. Oh, well, do you really want to spend loads of money buying soil and taking all that substrate out of the aquarium that you just spent all that money on, completely dirting up the tank and cause another, a load of other different issues? Or do you just stick with what you've got? Well, you can actually grow plants through different types of substrates. I do it myself. In the bottom big planted aquarium here, I use gravel. I've got sand in this aquarium, and I've got sand and gravel in my shrimp tank. So you can do it. I grow plants very well in them. One top tip that is recommended to use when using substrates that are gravel is obviously they don't have nutrients that are naturally in them, because it's not a natural product as such, so it doesn't have anything contained in them generally. But what we can do is use things called root tabs. Now what these are is little capsules or tablets, dissolvable tablets that you put into patches of your substrate, and then when you put plants in them, the tablets release nutrients, and that helps your plants grow. So that's a great tip to help you get a really good planted aquarium. I will point out one thing, sand is a little bit more difficult when you are growing plants, purely on the reason that if it's really fine sand, roots of plants tend to struggle to get around in the sand and uptake any nutrients that are in them, so it is a little bit more difficult. It's more recommended to have like quite a thick grained sand if you're going to do it, but you can do it with fine sand. It's just that you might notice a little bit of issues. But if you're watching this, you might be a beginner to planted aquariums, and that's fine. So you will be able to grow plants in the sand. Again, just use root tabs. But having said that, using substrates is not always necessary with plants. As I mentioned before, there's many plants that you can grow outside of the substrate, such as Java fern, Anubias, Java moss. There's loads of different types, and these feed from the water column, so the actual water there, so you don't need them planted. It's only more your stem plants and other things like that that really uptake the nutrients from the substrate. Most of the plants take it through the leaves, and generally if you're a beginner, you probably ain't going to know the real in-depths of problems that you might get, or discoloration, or not the best growth and stuff like that. If you just plopping plants in, then generally I think as a beginner, as a start, you should be fine to just use whatever substrate you've got. Like I said, the biggest recommendation I can have just to help those plants grow a bit better is to make sure that you've got a good fertilizer, so an all-in-one. And if you've got time to look into them and you've got the money, definitely look into root tabs. You don't need CO2 to grow plants. However, CO2 is definitely a key factor, and you will notice immense immensely better growth with CO2, but as you're starting out, just an all-in-one fertilizer would do absolutely fine. You can keep the same lights that you've got, you don't need to change them, and you can keep the substrate that you've got. So that's all I've got to say on the matter. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions, and if you agree with me or not. It's always great to hear other people's input. And until next time, you stay safe.